Grand Rising, Supreme Rising, good afternoon, buenos noches, wherever you are. I am asking the divine source and my spirit guides to clear my chakras, asking my benevolent ancestors to protect me while I deliver what needs to be said. Anybody that's throwing evil at me, it'll fall. Protect what needs to be said, spirit. And I thank you. Ashe, ashe, ashe. All right, let's build. On today's episode, we're talking about a touchy subject, and it's something that I've gone through and people around me has gone through, and I've witnessed it in the collective, but nobody's really talking about it too much. And it's the subject of when one partner comes into their self-awareness, consciousness, when their third eye opens and they start becoming more aware of certain things before their partner, and having to deal with the imbalance, and whether you stay and help and aid your partner to come into their awareness, or you leave. And depending on how much time you've had with that person, there's always a battle between history and the future and the unknown. And a lot of people in the collective have vices where you're able to kind of figure out what the unknown is. But if you're not supposed to be told, you won't be told. If you know, you know. So we're going to dive into that. So in my life, I've been on the end where I didn't know certain things and I was just living life and just going through, and my partner at a time was more aware of certain things, I want to say spiritually wise, and just of the world and what we were doing and our purpose and things like that, was more aware than I was. I always knew, I've always had a deeper knowing that something was up, but I hadn't explored it until I went into certain spiritual enlightenments. And you get many ascensions, and I didn't know certain things until I was woken up. Now, I've also been on the end of being the person who's awakened before the other partner, and it's really hard. It's hard because if you're unaware, you might not know why you're with this person, what you guys are doing together. If they're supposed to teach you something or you're supposed to teach them, you might just think that, you're attracted to the person, and, what they got going for themselves and what you got going for yourself aligns, and, y'all do y'all thing. But that's not how life works. There's always a reason. I believe that there's no such thing as coincidences. I believe that there's always a reason for why something is happening. And it's up to you to dig in deeper to figure out why that something is happening. So, you have people who are with people for years, eons. Some people be with people 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, 3 months, 3 years, however long. And those of us who, and it's not to point out anybody else who's not doing what they're supposed to be doing in their lives, but realistically, there are people who have certain missions in this lifetime, and there are people who are just pawns in the game. So those of us who have specific missions in this lifetime, you sign a certain contract to have certain people come in your life and teach you certain lessons to help you excel and elevate, to reach your full potential, to be who you're supposed to be. And those of us who are on these paths to be, guides and leaders, and to help other people come into their enlightenment, we often go through tumultuous times, and some of them, happen in relationships. And, you can go through an extensive hurt and pain from, a loved one, whether it be any relationship, platonic, romantic, friendship, family, whatever. You can go through something very traumatic, and it will catapult you into your enlightenment. Now, what's going on in the collective that's become a common thing and a popular thing now is the whole twin flame and soulmate, and and divine counterpart and kingdom spouse and karmic situation. Like, we got all these names and empath and narcissist dynamics and yada yada, whatever you want to call it, right? All of it is energy. And certain people will look at things and think it's like, it's not real, and it's very real when somebody comes into your life and is a catalyst to change for you, and you don't know it, and it can knock your socks off. And it's hard because you build so much time with people, and then you start realizing certain things, and you becoming more aware about what's going on in this world, quote unquote, matrix, and the other person is just like not seeing it, and it puts you in a divide in your heart. So dealing with that, you have options, right? Your options pretty much are to have self-love and realize that you can't put somebody else's journey before your own. You have to follow your gut, and they say your gut is connected to your brain, so you got to follow that. If your intuition, which is your higher self speaking to you, if your intuition is telling you something, you must follow it. And I can say from experience, I used to have a very, very, very hard time with following my intuition because I wanted to have control and I wanted to be stubborn, and nobody couldn't tell me I wasn't stubborn. But looking back on it now, I was stubborn as shit. It could be so many people telling me certain things and I'm like, nah. And I can see something and I can be like, nah. And, because I'm so stubborn, or was so stubborn, the universe used to have to, tap my ass a couple times because I couldn't see something. I was just ignoring red flags because I always see, the higher potential in other people because, I just don't go into things negatively. That's just not me. So when negative stuff happens and, it's like a trifecta of certain things that's going on, and I'm like, hold up, like, what's going on? You got to really dissect that thing. You really got to sit down and figure out what's going on. And 9 times out of 10, it can be people in your environment. It could be the person that you're loving. It could be the people that you're giving your energy to that are throwing you off. And all of it is lessons. And if you're not digging deep in and really tapping in with self, you won't even realize that certain things are lessons. And the universe will be using people closest to you to help you get through your lessons. And then when you realize you got to let these people go after you learn the lesson, that's where the kick comes in, where it's either you're repeating past life mistakes, or you're, being the big dog and having to bite the bullet and do something you don't want to do because it's going to make you uncomfortable, and take that next step. And usually that next step involves you having hard conversations with this counterpart, because now you have to figure out if in fact this person was just here to help you get to your next level, or you actually are supposed to go on this ride together. And a lot of people miss their blessings by trying to keep that person who is refusing to wake up on their boat with them, and don't realize that they're sinking the boat. It's like you could be fighting and doing everything you're supposed to be doing to, reach your purpose and fulfill your potential and fulfill that purpose in this lifetime. But you're taking people along with you who are not supposed to be there. They're not supposed to go, out of love and out of history. And out of, well, I did this for this person, and I did that for that person, and this person knows my family, and I don't want to look like a fool, and I don't want to look like a failure. It's better you look like a fool and a failure than to waste your life with somebody that is not on your vibration. Y'all are not in alignment. And when you are not in alignment with someone, that is blocking your path. It's blocking your path. And if you refuse to realize that this alignment is blocking your path, you're just going to live a life of misery, and it'll be a facade. and it'll be surface level, and you'll never be able to have any depth in anything that you do. I'm the type of person, like, I like to get deep. I like to get to the nitty gritty. Like, I don't want to talk about what's your favorite color and what you ate yesterday, and I don't want to talk about that stuff. Like, I just won't do it. I go ghost. I tell you, I go ghost. Like, if I feel like somebody's coming off to me world surface level, world 3D, like, nah, I'm not having a conversation. I don't want to do it. Like, I want to know what else there is. Like, what's out there? What's more? Tell me your fears. Tell me your dreams. Tell me how you're going to reach them. You know, what it is that you're trying to overcome in your past that is hindering you now. What are your triggers? Like, you know, what makes you sad? What makes you happy? What's on your bucket list? Like, you know, like, how do you feel about, you know, past lives and this lifetime? And, you know, are you just going this life thing raw dogging without knowing your birth chart? That's another thing. And to put a pin in that, it's very important to know your birth chart. Like, it's very important to know, you know, your whole dynamic of self. So your birth chart is pretty much a physical aid in how you are able to, you know, maneuver in this life path. So just going through life without a birth chart is just crazy to me. But everyone can go to cafeastrology.com and get your free birth chart. And whether or not you know your the time of your birth, you can still put your birth chart in, your birth date in, and they'll tell you about yourself. And it's very imperative that you read everything it says, and it'll help align you with what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. You know, but back to what we were speaking about, knowing these certain things will help you, you know, figure out if in fact you're supposed to be with the person that you're with, if they're just a catalyst for change for you, or if you're a catalyst for change for them. Like, just to be going through life and thinking that, you know, you're supposed to be with this person and have a couple of kids and, you know, do whatever and then die is just not it. It's not it. You got to dig deep into this thing. It's deeper than religion. It's deeper than what you wore today, and it's deeper than how that other person got their hair, and it's deeper than who's the next big artist that they done pulled out of who knows where and talking about sucking and fucking and licking. Like, it's really deeper than that. And a lot of people get sucked into staying in certain dynamics out of comfortability and finances and longevity, and those are the things that make people come into karmic situations and karmic cycles. People will be laying up next to somebody that they don't even like, but emotionally cheating with someone else. People will be really pouring their heart out to somebody, and this person does not care, but they're staying because it works for the bills and it works for the children. And oh, don't get me started on the children. Would you rather your children see you happy and thriving without all the BS of trying to stay with somebody just because of having what you think is a happy family? People are so caught up in what traditionally they've seen, and not realizing they're supposed to be the person to break that mold. And a lot of people don't want to do it because they don't want to be chastised. They don't want to be, you know, ostracized. They don't want to be the one that has to stand out. A lot of y'all are not supposed to fit in. Y'all were made to stand out. Y'all were made to be the people who made a different mold. And because people are scared and they don't want, you know, to be the one that people are pointing the finger at, they'll stay. They'll stay and be upset. They'll stay and be dissatisfied. And they'll stay in this unrequited love situation because of the children, or because, you know, this is what my mama did. This is what my daddy did. This is what my grandma did. Like, this is not that time no more, boo-boo. This is not that time no more. Those people lived those times, so you don't have to. A lot of you are not looking at the mistakes of your elders and the people in your lineage and changing it. You're just repeating it. That's like failure to me. It's like I'm doing my ancestors a disservice of not seeing the patterns that need to be broken. I've been in situations where I stayed out of finances because that's what I saw, and it did not work. I've been in situations where somebody looked good and complimented me, and we might have had great sex, and it did not work. You know what I mean? And people will get so entitled with, oh, well, we were together for this long, or I helped you get out of jail, or I helped you when your parents didn't help you, or I helped you when you didn't have nothing, and this and the third. It's like, you know, those people were there for those certain times. But once you add like a sentence on it, like, all right, well, I got to be with this, I got to do for this person, that's when you lose yourself. That's when you lose everything, because you allow that person to overtake you and have power and dominion over you because of something that they did for you in a time of need. Because everybody is not vibrating at their highest level and their highest potential, people are on this pretty much Indian giver shit. And it's like, well, if you do for me, I do for you. If you don't do this for me, then I'm not doing for you. Or give me this back because I don't like how you're treated. Like, nobody's healing certain things that are making them have these certain entitlements. So now this person becomes a possession, and it becomes, you know, something that's pretty much, you wear it like a belt, because you helped and aided them in a certain aspect of their life when they needed help, instead of just doing it out of the generosity of your heart. So now you've accumulated this karmic debt between the two, and a cycle between people because of entitlement. Everybody need to just chill the fuck out and stop being so like, well, high and mighty. Like, that's causing people to stay in certain situations longer because of this entitlement bullshit. You can meet somebody in 3 months and marry them and have a beautiful life, and they be totally different than someone you've known for 20 years. Because you're on different cycles now. That cycle is over. You've learned what you needed to learn, and now you're able to meet somebody who has learned the same cycle, and now you're able to live in bliss because you've done that already. But in order to get to that person, you have to realize what you're holding on to that's negative. And if you are aware, there's no turning back. Once you come into your enlightenment and you decide to stay with someone who's not enlightened, whatever happens is on you. Whatever happens is on you, because, you know, the saying, they say, oh, God blesses babies and fools. It's like, once you open that third eye, and those who have a wide third eye open, your pineal gland, and it's decalcified, and you're eating right, and you're not, you know, consuming certain things, it's like, you can't go back. You cannot go back. And if you do, then boo fucking who to you? Because you're doing yourself a disservice of ascending and coming more into who you're supposed to be. You know, when people can't get ahead and they feel stuck, and then they turn to drugs, and then they get strung out and this and the thirds, because they're ignoring their intuition, ignoring what they see right in front of their faces. They're ignoring it. I can put my hand up and say I've been the one to ignore certain things. And it's not a good feeling. That heartache, that pain, that depression, because you don't understand or understand what's going on. And it'll be right in front of your face. You're ignoring what you're supposed to be doing. So when the monotony of life gets to you, and, you know, you just fall into depression, it's because you're ignoring the moves you're supposed to take. And 9 times out of 10, you know the moves you're supposed to take, but you don't want to do it because it's uncomfortable. A lot of us are, there's a psychicness in everybody. There's a telepathy thing in everybody. It's like, you know, sometimes when you're thinking about somebody and they text you, it's like, well, how did that happen? It's because you're sending out that energy, and it's boomeranging to that person. We're all connected. So most times people know when you've clocked out of a relationship. They know when you clocked out. Most women leave mentally and emotionally before they leave physically. Now, you got some who just don't give a fuck, but most do that, you know, and most men will stay but leave physically. And we'll talk about that too on another podcast, that dynamic, that it's a weird one, how men can be like, yeah, I was just having sex with that person, but it was always going to be you, and I'm always going to stay with this person. And how a woman can be like, nah, I can't do that, but when they leave, it's a whole, oh my gosh, the man just falls out. Like, yeah, that's another topic. But back on this one, it's detrimental if you're in a relationship and you're the one that's not eating meat, not eating certain things, not, indulging in certain things, not caring for, the 3D things in the world, and your partner is. You have to figure out, are you going to allow that person to ride your coattail when you've done all that work to heal? And it's all about self-love. It's definitely all about self-love. And you can't knock the hustle either. Like, you can't be mad at the person either, because you've attracted that in your time, in that time frame, to teach you something. So, people can look back on their exes and be like, man, fuck them, I don't like them, and whatever they gotta say. But it's just like, you playing yourself, because at one moment in time you were in love with that person. Now, depending on what the person did to you, for you guys to not be together, then how you feel is how you feel. More power to you. But if we're being realistic, and at a point in time there was a reason why you were with that person. Now, if you can be even more realistic with yourself, you can look back and say, okay, what drew me to that person? Where was I at in my energy that allowed that type of energy to connect with me? You take it for what it is, and then, okay, aha, boom. And then you're supposed to apply the lesson to yourself. If you keep on running into the same people and the same relationships keep repeating themselves, you're not applying the lessons that you learned from prior relationship to this one. And this comes in friendships as well. You can see red flags with friends and, just bypass it because you don't want to be confrontational. That means you're blocking your throat chakra. And now that you're blocking your throat chakra and not speaking and causing these emotions to be suppressed, now your body aching. Now you tired and you're not getting no rest, and you're restless, and you're doing this 9 to 5 that's not giving you anything. It's not pouring back into you. And then you're with somebody that doesn't understand how you feel, because most of us who are, awoken don't want to have 9 to 5s. Because you have a yearning for your soul purpose, and it's deep within you, those passions that you have, and whatever it might be in your birth chart that tells you what you're supposed to be doing, your life path and your life path number. And, as a life path number 3, I know I got to speak to y'all about certain shit. So, once you find out your life path, you'll be able to know what it is that you're supposed to do in this time. But just not knowing and not being aware is just doing you a disservice. And if you're with somebody who's not aware, and you are, and you choose to help them and they don't want the help, it's best that you leave. And I'm not one to tell anybody to do anything. I'm just saying from experience that you're not going to excel and get to where you really want to because you're, what they say, quote unquote, unequally yoked. And you will go through periods of honeymoon phases where, things will be fine and everything will be going well. And then it'll get to the point where you're not fulfilled. There's something missing. And you don't want to tell your partner, oh, well, you're not on the level that I'm on, or whatever, however y'all communicate. You want to do it out of compassion, but sometimes that compassion turns into years and years and years of trying to pull somebody and show them what they're supposed to be doing, and they don't want to do it. And now you've lost years of time where you could have been diving into your purpose, doing what you want to do that makes you happy, but you decide to give your energy to somebody else. And best believe they use that energy and they can manifest off of it depending on how, highly ranked you are spiritually and energetically. People will siphon your energy and be energy vampires and shapeshift to be anything that you want them to be, and they use that energy to manifest, and they'll use that energy and give it to somebody else, and leave you depleted. And you'll be like, well, what? All I did was love them. All I did was, yeah, you getting played. Stand the fuck up. My ones, my divine feminines, my divine masculines that know that they're supposed to be doing something in this age of Aquarius, in this mass awakening right now, and y'all in these unequally yoked relationships, trust and believe. By 2024, if you haven't already picked the side that you're going to be on right now, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. And like I said in my first episode, I don't talk about nothing I ain't been through. So me being stubborn, I had to go through some harsh lessons because I didn't want to be the person to tell the other person that, well, this is what I'm doing and you're obviously not doing that, and we gotta let each other go because of a soul tie, because of illusions, because of spell work, speaking things into existence and not realizing it's manifesting because you putting the intent behind it with your words. It's very imperative that those who know they have deeper missions take time to themselves. Figure out what it is that they want out of life and not care what no one has to say. And if your partner is someone that doesn't support you, it's a dub. Don't sugarcoat nothing. You should be with someone who supports you, because then that makes you fuel more into your passion and it makes you do what you need to do and reach your highest level. If you're with someone that you can't share lectures with and can't talk to about, certain things that's going on in the world, and, because it's not something that they're tapped into, you need to reevaluate that too. Because then your throat chakra will be blocked. Because you're diving into certain things and your partner doesn't like it. So now it's like, well, what are y'all doing? Y'all don't have anything in common anymore, because now when you're awakened, that opens up a can of worms of a whole bunch of things. They say, you're going down a rabbit hole. When your partner isn't, what are y'all talking about? It's surface level and it doesn't feel good. And you lying if you say it does. It doesn't. Because when you're not with that person, what are you doing? You're digging into your studies. You're figuring out more about life and who you are and what's going on here. The emerald tablets, the temple path that you're on, Egyptology, Kemet, and all the other things that you get into when you first go exploring on this journey. Consciousness, unconscious, all the words, grand rising, and you know how the people are when they first become into being woke. Now, I still say certain terminology because I know when you have an inner knowing, you correct yourself. But don't waste your time trying to explain anymore. If you're in a relationship and it's unrequited, and you've chosen to help this person and they don't want to do it, you really need to check yourself. Check yourself and watch the patterns from how you stay surface level, and then when you want to tap into deeper knowing and that person doesn't want to go there. You have to let it go with love and realize that you've outgrown the situation and now it's time to venture on to more. And you can't be afraid. There's no such thing as fear. What are you fearful of? Who cares about these people? Half of these people that got checks next to their name not valid. No check make you valid. No blue check makes you valid. Some of these people be walking around, be billionaires, and they be having on raggedy t-shirts, some busted up jeans, and some scuffed up sneakers, and you would never know. So please, everybody want to be valid for what? What makes you valid? Everybody got the same 24 hours in a day. What are you doing with yours? Up somebody's ass that don't really care for you? Or really digging into who you are and excelling and becoming what you need to be in this life path so you don't have to do it again? Learn them hard lessons. Sit with yourself. Go through your dark night of soul. Go through your dark night of the soul. Cry it out. Yell it out. Become celibate. Clear your energy. Take back your energy. Call back your energy from any person in any place and any habit that you have. And start over. And it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy. Some people don't wake up until 3 kids, 4 or 5 kids later and be like, oh, damn, I was really out here wilding. And, you might have had nudges already and you chose to ignore them. When somebody tells you something and it's something that might not, sound too well, take heed to it. Take heed to it. Because 9 times out of 10, that was, the universe telling you something, and it's up to you what you want to believe and how you want to maneuver in life. Everybody has so-called free will, but when you're chosen to do certain things like break generational curses and, break hexes off your family and to, become that first millionaire in your family, become the person to make, a legacy for you and your children and whomever, it's very imperative to listen. No such thing as coincidence. History will have you locked into somebody who can be a freaking demon. And you would never know. History will have you locked in with people who may be your sister, your brother, your mother, your cousin, your best friend, your uncle. Shit, your kids sometimes. You never know. You never know. You gotta dig in. And let me tell you something. If you somebody that's listening and you got this far and you like, what is she talking about? Exit. Don't need you here. The people that know what I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. So if you just listen to be nosy and you still lost, do yourself a favor and click out. I have 0 time and zero patience and 0 tolerance. The people that I'm speaking to already know that it's time right now to get on the train and get with the people who you're supposed to be in this lifetime. If you have a deeper yearning for knowledge and to figure out, quantum physics and how things work in this lay of the land and what we're doing and how you're supposed to be using your vessel, and you don't have people around you who are trying to dig in like that, it's time to just cut it all off. Go into hermit mode, go into isolation, turn off the TV, turn off the radio, put your phone to a side, and really sit with yourself and listen. Listen to what you hear. I'm pretty sure something will come to you. Write it down. Put it in your notes in your phone if you have to. Tap in. These long-term relationships, these friendships that you're not benefiting from, that's not helping you reach the goals that you have in your life, what are you doing? What are you doing? Every time you share yourself with somebody, every time you open that portal and have intimacy with somebody, you're manifesting. And half of y'all not having sex right anyway. Half of y'all not even using the art of intimacy the right way. So you're just building these karmic ties, and it's just mess. And then it's causing obsession, and it's causing people, wanting to break up other people because they don't really know who that person is to another person. It's deep. It's deep. You'll have these women clinging onto these men who are not supposed to be with them because of karmic soul ties and sex. Because people are not using their sexual energy properly. Just out here fucking whoever you want to fuck and not realizing what you're doing. And now you locked in with this person you don't even fucking like. Be careful. People be out here be succubus and incubus and had these demons on them that, just want to have a quick fuck, and now you're tied in with somebody and have kids with somebody that you don't want to be around and don't even like. because of temporary feelings and temporary highs. You could be with somebody who is a karmic person for years and not realize that you have somebody out there that's your soulmate that you're supposed to be with, but you've already locked in with this person and got assets together and got a house together and kids and all this other stuff, but ignored the lessons that you were going through with this person. This age of Aquarius is going to enlighten people to a lot of things that were pushed under the rug. You're not going to be able to hide, especially with these retrogrades and all the things that's going on in the planets right now, especially in this month of August. This is a very heightened month. If you are on the side of not knowing what to do, knowing that you're not supposed to be somewhere, but it's hard, write out your plans, write out what it is, write out 3 things that you want to do, and then write out a couple ways to reach those 3 things. And then pick one thing off that list and work on that for maybe a week, 2 weeks to a month, and see what happens and see where it takes you. It's about self, digging into self, and then being able to share. And it's a pity to waste your good years and time when you can be building and making long-lasting, impressions and in anything in this lifetime for someone else or for the betterment of humanity, instead of wasting it with somebody you don't even fucking like and that's not on your same vibration and not even your person. It's a hard pill to swallow when you share years with somebody and realize that they're not the one. And maturity comes in where you can say, okay, you know what? It is what it is, but I gotta let it go. And sometimes it may come back, but only let it come back if it's changed behavior. We only accept and change behavior around here, not the gaslighting, not the ghosting, not the, giving you the charming bullshit and what they say, love bombing. No, we're not doing that. Come on now. Let's be real. So I need y'all, my people who know that love isn't supposed to be something that is confusion. It's not supposed to be confusion. It's not supposed to be unaware. It's not supposed to leave you isolated. It's not supposed to leave you cold. It's not supposed to leave you just desolate. It's not supposed to leave you feeling empty. If you feel that way and you're on your simple path or you're not on your simple path, whatever, even if you feel that way, period, you need to examine how much you're allowing someone else to have power over you. Take your power back. Sometimes you won't have to get into the mud and get it out the mud. And it's not going to be favorable situations, but in the long term, you'll look back and be happy that you disconnected from something that was not benefiting you. I've done it. I've been married. I've been divorced. I had a fiance after that. I've had relationships. I've been single. I've been on all different spectrums. And I know it's hard. It's very hard. And a lot of my divine feminine and divine masculine, our kryptonites are love. So I know it's hard. A lot of us encompass unconditional love. And if you're supposed to be waking up and doing something in this life path, 9 times out of 10, you're paired with someone who's your catalyst for your spiritual awakening. And they probably done some fucked up shit to you. And you can't figure out why you still love him, why you still with him. And it's probably a karmic soulmate. We'll talk about all these titles. But wake up. Wake up. I ain't got to explain myself for real, because if you know, you know. If you got this far, you definitely know who you are. I crippled myself from not waking up sooner to certain situations. Wake up, look at the red flags, stop ignoring them, do your cons and your pros, sit down, have these hard conversations, and sometimes it's not going to be something that you want to hear. If everybody would stop kissing each other's ass, then people would be able to get things done faster and quicker. But everybody want to be I don't want to say this, I don't want to say that. Okay, well, you're just going to stay in something that's going to keep on continuous to hurt you, continually hurting you, and, send you into an early death if that's what you want. People do die from heartbreak. You got to make the hard decisions. Cut them off. When you outgrow something, don't try to put yourself back into something that you outgrew already. That's like, what sense do that make? Have the conversations that needed to be had. Stop allowing people to take your energy. Stop allowing people to do fuck shit in your face. Divine feminine, divine masculine. You are here to do a mission. And the mission needs to be fulfilled. You miss your mission, you miss your blessings. Your blessings, all that good stuff. But I can say for one, my 3 babies are very happy, and because their mother is happy. Nobody wants to live in trauma and mess because of history. Y'all better do what y'all supposed to do. Y'all better do what y'all supposed to do. I swear, for everything you don't want the universe to do it for you. Y'all gotta do what y'all supposed to do. A lot of y'all gotta break those curses off from your parents that's onto you. A lot of your parents have done the same exact things that you have done in relationships. Sometimes tradition is what's holding you back. Break out of that. So I hope y'all receive what needed to be said. I hope y'all apply it to your life if you are in this situation, if you know someone in this situation, if you're about to be in a situation like that. Run. But no, you can follow me on Instagram at EYEGOT2SUMNSAY. You can also follow me on Instagram at CHARISMA.DMUSIC. You can also follow me on all music platforms. You can find my music. You can find my art on my pages. I do a lot of paintings. I also do a lot of sneaker art. I do a lot of different things. Tap in with me. You can email me at igotsomethingnto@gmail.com or charisma.dmusic1@gmail.com. And until next time, I'll see y'all on Monday's episode. Peace and prosperity. And always remember, say your shit and stand on it. I'll talk to y'all.